Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning, episode 480, back on the topic of the NFL today. Jay and I bringing you another edition of NFL Would You Rather. Again, we're going to be giving out some scenarios for the next season and answering what we would rather happen as an outcome. But before we get into this video, question of the day, consistent with the last video we have, putting two NFL players to fight each other. This time, we're asking you who would win in a fight between Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley, two of the biggest running backs in the NFL. Comment your answer below, and at the end of the video, Jay and I will give you our winner for that fight. But Jay, give me an NFL Would You Rather for this upcoming season.
So let's say you are the GM of the Indianapolis Colts and you have not made the Carson Wentz trade yet. It is up to you. Do you bring back Philip Rivers at 39 years old, or do you make the Carson Wentz trade? So Philip Rivers, it was his own choice to retire, but let's say in conspiracy land, it was up to you as a GM whether or not he comes back. Which do you go with? Do you make the trade with Wentz, or do you get Philip for one more year?
I'm going Wentz trade 100%. I do like Philip Rivers. I'm a big fan. I think you can make it even a case for him. Hall of Fame is even on the table. But he's been really consistent and mediocre at best, above average in his entire career. His farthest he's ever made it was AFC Championship. And I think with Wentz, you've definitely seen a higher caliber player in that 2017 season with the Eagles than Philip Rivers ever was. So I'm going to take the risk and make the Wentz trade.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Philip Rivers never won the big game in his career, and I don't think he's going to do it at 39, going on 40 years old. We've seen in the past quarterbacks win at the very end of their career. John Elway, Peyton Manning retired on Super Bowls, but early in their careers, they still won big games, went to Super Bowls. Philip Rivers, he's never really done that. He's been to one AFC Championship. I'm rolling the dice on Wentz as well.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think Philip Rivers is probably one of my top 10 favorite players ever. I do like him a lot, but I'm not taking him over Carson Wentz. And for my first scenario, looking at the LA Chargers, Jay, would you rather see them make a deep playoff run, say AFC Championship, but then disappoint us all with a loss, or just miss the playoffs completely?
I love the LA Chargers. You guys know I've pretty much become a pretty good fan of the LA Chargers and Justin Herbert, and I want to see them do success, but if I'm guaranteed that they are losing from a Chargers standpoint as a fan, I almost want them to miss the playoffs just so that way you have a better draft pick. If there's a mystery of how well they do in the playoffs, I'm going to take that chance all the way. But if I know they're going to get a guaranteed loss some point in the playoffs, I'm going to take them missing it just in order to get a better draft pick for the following year.
I'm taking the playoff run. I think seeing Herbert in the playoffs would be super, super exciting. Would excite you Chargers fans. So I think Herbert playoff run would be the way I'd want to see it.
All right. So you're starting an NFL team. Do you take on your roster 400-year-old Larry Fitzgerald or 400-year-old Adrian Peterson? They don't necessarily have to start, but who do you want on your team at their current age?
I'm going to go Fitzgerald. I think he has just the way his career has gone, seems more like a guy I want on my team. Yeah. Peterson's bounced around who knows how many times. Of course, he does have an MVP as a running back, which is super impressive. But Peterson has obviously done some off-the-field things that are not ideal. He's bounced around in the league. He's just been mediocre for the last several years. And not that Fitzgerald's been great, but he's been in Arizona the whole time. Being a leader and a mentor, I'd take Fitzgerald over Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Not that I'd want either of these guys be my number one option, but Larry Fitzgerald, no matter what point in his career, no matter what age he was, he's never known for his speed. He's always known for his great hands. And the older he gets, his likelihood of catching a football doesn't disintegrate because that's what he's always been known for. His speed will decrease, but that was never his special suit. So I'm going to go with Fitzgerald just because of the consistency, and I know he could catch a football.
All right, for me, my next case scenario, we got Matthew Stafford, first year in LA, a guy that's gotten really nothing done in Detroit, and we've got Carson Wentz just coming out of Philadelphia to Indianapolis, a guy that a lot of people hate. So who would you rather see have the better year, Stafford or Carson Wentz?
I would like Wentz just because I've been predicting that I think he will be the same guy he used to be at MVP form, and I actually think I will go that way, especially since my favorite team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If Matt Stafford does well, there's a good chance he takes the Buccaneers out. So therefore, in a biased opinion, I will choose Carson Wentz to do well because of my prediction, and I do think that's what will happen. I think Carson Wentz will be great, and I do think Matt Stafford will be great, but if I'm given the option, I want Wentz to do better.
So I was thinking this before you made a good point about the Bucs, also in the NFC, of course. But I'm going to go Stafford. I think Stafford has been good with no help in Detroit, so that's why he's never accomplished anything. And Wentz just kind of took a nosedive. Yes, he had really not many people to throw the ball to and a bad O-line in Philly, but himself, he was bottom of the barrel for stat-wise in a lot of categories. So I think Stafford deserves it more, so I'm going to go Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I wish well upon him, but I don't want to see him take down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For my next one, would you rather the Tampa Bay Buccaneers re-sign Ndamukong Suh and Leonard Fournette, or just Antonio Brown? So 2 or just 1?
I'm definitely going to go playoff Lenny and Ndamukong Suh. I think Suh was a guy that I kind of disliked when he was with the Lions because he played dirty sometimes. But then seeing him on the Bucs playing and helping this defense so much kind of changed my mind on him. Kind of biased, yes. But I think just for the team's sake, the running back that carried him through the divisional round all the way, and a defensive guy is definitely going to help more than AB. Now, AB is definitely the most talented of the two guys. You might combine their talents, and AB's still a better receiver than that. But I think AB would not really hurt this team very much. But a loss of their running back that carried them deep and a lineman, I think, would hurt more. So I'm going to say Suh and Lenny would like to come back.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go opposite. I think the receiving core is great, but I think having AB is just such a scary threat for any NFL team.
He gives you a guy that you can just really guarantees open. When you need him to be open, he's going to get open.
And especially what we've seen them do late last year and the end of the season and then into the playoffs, that receiving core was just scary. And I have faith in our backup running back, Ronald Jones, to take Leonard Fournette's spot. As much as I like Ndamukong Suh and his experience, I think we could draft another 300-pound tackle in the NFL draft. So I definitely think those guys are replaceable. Antonio Brown, if he's anything like he was at the end of the season, he is irreplaceable, in my opinion.
That's a good point. I really can't even replace him with anybody else in the league. Yeah. So that is a good point. For my next scenario, you got Jimmy Garoppolo with the San Francisco 49ers. Would you rather see him make another Super Bowl run, win the NFC, but lose, or say Niners trade for Deshaun Watson and the 49ers become a Super Bowl threat right away?
This would actually really determine where would Deshaun go instead. But I'm going to go Deshaun just to San Francisco because I'd love to see that division just become even harder. The NFC West is already the toughest division by far, but the NFC itself would be absolutely stacked. You've got the Rams with Matthew Stafford, the Niners with Deshaun Watson, and the Buccaneers with Tom Brady. Those are probably arguably the 3 best teams in football. Aaron Rodgers, the Packers as well. That would be an absolute wrench thrown into the NFC playoff picture, and I'd love to see that happen just to see teams scramble around.
Yeah, this question kind of a lot of speculation of requiring Jimmy G to be traded, but I would not want to see Jimmy G go all the way back to lose again. I would just kind of put another case of he's not good enough to do the whole or to win it all. So I would say I'd rather see Deshaun in San Francisco, and also because I want something good for Deshaun, and going there would be Super Bowl odds out the ass.
100%. All right, another Deshaun question from me. Would you rather Deshaun Watson be traded to the Denver Broncos or Carolina Panthers? 2 kind of underdogs in this trade market to me.
If I'm going to go, where should Deshaun go? I think AFC West, go to Denver. They got a better defense. They have a better receiving core, I think, and they have a division that would become very, very, very much more competitive, just like the NFC West, like we just mentioned. So I'd rather see Deshaun go to Denver.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go opposite just because same thing as the Niners won. I feel like the AFC is kind of set with Mahomes. Not to say Deshaun couldn't win it there with Denver, but I'd love to see Deshaun Watson versus Tom Brady twice a year, and him and Carolina would be awesome to see the Christian McCaffrey Deshaun Watson duo. But if it involves them trading away Christian McCaffrey in order for Deshaun Watson, I will probably change my opinion. But if that is a possibility, McCaffrey and Watson together, I have to see that.
Is that 4 from you?
Yeah.
All right, this is our last one coming from me. Theoretically, we have an AFC championship between Justin Herbert and the Chargers and Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. I know that's a stretch, but I want to know who would you want to see win, not necessarily who you think would be the better team, but Joe Burrow coming off the injury, Herbert being such a young superstar, who would you want to win that football game?
Biasedly, I would have to go with the Chargers, A, because I like them, but B, and most importantly, I know you said conspiracy theory, it's a stretch,
the Bengals would have to
going to the
find
Super
the end of the
Bowl,
rainbow for it.
I just can't see the Bengals winning that. I just don't see them winning a Super Bowl because they don't have enough talent. I think if the Chargers got there, they could pull it off with the Bengals. I just feel like they got a lucky, streak down the stretch, and I don't see them winning at all. The Chargers, I think they could finish the job.
All right, 100%. Who would I want to win? I'd want Joe Burrow to come back, come off the injury, and do something great. Now, do I think this Bengals team has anywhere near the talent to do that? Absolutely not. But if they find their way there, I'm rooting for Burrow all the way. Sorry, Chargers fans, but I just think I want him to come back from an injury and not lose a step in his career. That should be great.
Yeah, can't go wrong there.
All right, that's all for our Would You Rather scenarios. But back to the question today, Jay. Who wins in a fight, Saquon Barkley or Nick Chubb?
I'm going to have to go with Saquon Barkley. We saw that man, squat 540 pounds, whatever it is. I think Nick Chubb might have an advantage. Saquon coming off an injury might be able to kick that foot a few times, but we'll have to see. I'm going to go with Saquon. Unfortunately, it'll never happen.
Yeah, funny you say that. My argument was going to be Saquon because of his quads, unmatched by anybody in the league.
Yeah.
I think Saquon will take the fight, but don't count out Nick Chubb. We've seen the pictures of him online of him running track in high school. The dude is big. But that's all for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. 2 Minute Warning.